Here's what we have in store for you on this edition of Shelby This Week. Shelby Township brought together business members and honored 5 very important businesses right here in Shelby Township. We'll tell you all about the event held at KUKA Robotics. Both Eisenhower High School and Utica High School received threats within the last week, and authorities are taking them very seriously. The Shelby Township Police Department and the Fire Department teamed up and held a very important training at a former elementary school. We have all this and much more coming up on Shelby This Week. The Shelby Township Business Awards was held at KUKA Robotics. They celebrated the work businesses do for our community.
The businesses here in Shelby Township is what makes our township.
Well, let's face it, when you talk about what's going on in the heart and soul of a community is economic development.
The businesses here in Shelby Township took center stage at the 2nd Annual Business Awards. This year's event was emceed by our very own Kelly Kasuda, and it honored the importance of businesses in the community.
I think it's great that once a year we get to recognize 5 corporations, small businesses, whether it's a restaurant or a rehab. I think it's just nice to recognize the fact that they're very meaningful in our Shelby Township economy. From the smallest to the biggest, they're all important.
Business recognition awards are extremely important because it gives people a sense of pride in having that business or that company to begin with.
This year's winners included KUKA Robotics, Da Francesco's, Team Rehabilitation, Black Hills Estates, and Amazon.
It was a very tough decision because we probably could have given it to about 30 or 35 or 40 different people. Actually, we could have given it to 100 different. But you know, in the end, it just came to the people who were here 25 years ago, like Don Francisco, Amazon. I mean, who else could we give it to as far as rehabbing that property? And at KUKA, they were the first ones on this corporate drive stretch, so it only made sense that KUKA would be included. So it just all fell into place.
These awards are very important for Shelby Township, and businesses make the community a better place to live, work, and play.
It's not just about business revenue, but it's also about the jobs they provide, and that's what makes a vibrant economy here in Shelby Township.
I think businesses need to be recognized because I don't think sometimes we might just take them for granted. You know, that little shop down the side of the road or these industrial parks or whatever. People drive by every day really not knowing or not understanding what they do, but the people working there understand the importance of it. So without question, those of us in the public field, we get an understanding. There's times where we have to get out there and let people know, you know what, we do appreciate the fact that they're growing their businesses and not only trying to recognize them, but how do we help them?
To catch more of the Business Awards, watch the whole presentation on ShelbyTV. The Shelby Township Police Department was tipped off from multiple calls to dispatch about a threat made by a student at Utica High School. 18-year-old Timothy Evans allegedly posted an offensive message on social media containing a weapon and a threat to the school. The Shelby Township Police Department found weapons after they searched Evans' home. This wasn't the first time officers were called out to the home. Police investigated a perceived threat from Evans' younger brother who attends Shelby Junior High School. Laws were not broken according to the police department when the younger brother posted something on social media. Police Chief Robert Shelad wants students to know they take these threats very seriously, and he explained what parents can do to make sure they know what their children are doing.
Well, information, obviously. Make sure they're monitoring what their own children are doing is the most important thing. Monitoring who they're hanging around with. That's critical, okay? And then, you know, making sure that anything that doesn't look right, I mean, you use the old smell test, okay? If it smells bad, it probably is, you know what I mean? So, if, you know, pay attention to who the kids are hanging around to, monitor their social media use.
Timothy Evans was charged with making a terrorist threat. He was arraigned and given a $75,000 bond. Evans faces up to 20 years in prison and a $20,000 fine. Right after the threat made at Utica High School, another threat was made at Eisenhower. 17-year-old Stephen Johnson was overheard during school hours making threatening remarks to other students at the school. Utica Community Schools alerted authorities and expressed their concerns over the threats made. A search warrant was done at Johnson's home and authorities found airsoft weapons.
We have to look at everything and vet them. Usually involves a search warrant to see if there are means accessible to get to or to carry out these threats. So they're very labor intensive, both on the school district's point, our point, the prosecutor. We're over 20 of these investigations by the Macomb County prosecutor. 20 individuals have been charged with this crime since Parkland. And I cannot emphasize enough, and I think the prosecutor has done this, the school superintendent has done this. These aren't games. We are not playing around. You can't say, oh, I was just joking. These are not jokes, these are not pranks, these are crimes.
In the press release from the Shelby Township Police Department, Macomb County prosecutor said, "I applaud the student body and staff at Eisenhower High School for their due diligence regarding the serious nature of these threats. My office will continue to work with local law enforcement and school officials to prosecute those who make these threats to the fullest extent under the law and to ensure the safety of our schools." In response to both this threat and the one made at Utica High School, Superintendent of Utica Community Schools, Dr. Christine John, sent a letter out to parents. In the letter, John states, "The consequences that face our students who make threatening statements are severe. Utica Community Schools, our law enforcement partners, and the Macomb County Prosecutor's Office are responding by prosecuting to the fullest extent of the law." Stephen Johnson was charged as an adult of a 20-year felony. He was arraigned on Friday and given a $100,000 bond. Two very important departments here in Shelby Township trained at a former elementary school. Their training provided them with the much-needed skills in order to combat an active shooter situation. Our Stacy Santatera has more.
What we're doing today is really taking that next evolution or folding in the next part or component of active shooter training.
Mass shootings across the country have prompted Shelby Township's first responders to prepare for the worst. And that kind of forward thinking brought together the Shelby Township Police and Fire Departments in an active shooter drill.
We are establishing in our community a rescue task force. That's where now firefighter paramedics will actually go in and assist in the treatment and the removal of injured individuals in shooting situations, catastrophe situations.
And essentially we are going to be training hand-in-hand, one-on-one with the police to basically address situations that have been coming up a lot lately.
And because of those situations, training for active shooter scenarios has changed drastically over the years. While the top priority is to eliminate the threat, getting aid to the injured is the focus of this training. Ron Tagg is with Tactical Encounters, a group made up of active and retired police military.
We talk rescue task force, but still a majority of the fire departments, in fact, the majority of the biggest top 10 fire departments in the state of Michigan still stage outside into a cold zone. Well, we know that doesn't work. Once we get a warm zone, when either the shooter's been killed or contained, then we can bring our paramedics and do what they should be doing, stopping the bleeding during these scenarios.
And stopping the bleeding during these scenarios is what this training is all about. It's an all-hands-on-deck mentality.
The goal in mind to bring the fire department into these scenarios and help to stop the bleeding instead of having mass casualties where, we wait 30, 40, 45, 50 minutes to get care.
We're able to save lives if we can get emergency care and medics in there quickly. So if we can stop bleeding within minutes after the injury compared to an hour after scene is secure, you're able to save a lot more lives.
The best thing I can say is you let the experts who know what they're doing do what they're doing. So we're the people that are going to stop the bad things from happening. They're going to be the people that are going to stop the bleeding from happening.
There's a culture shift, and as that changes, we have to learn to adapt with it. So. And by adapting, we now are engaging with the police. So we're going to have our police do their initial entry, and this next portion, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be entering with the police secondary. And we're basically getting right in there and rendering care as soon as possible and getting these victims out way before we would have initially done in the past.
Tactical Encounters focuses on instruction and demonstration while placing our first responders in stress-induced scenarios. Because preparing for the worst and the proper training will ultimately help in making quick, life-saving decisions.
You know, we're trying to be the benchmark here. I want to, Chief Swinkowski and us are working hand in hand. We want to set the tone. We want to say that we're adequately prepared to deal with anything that may be thrown at us. God forbid something like Parkland occurs in our community. Both police and fire will be prepared and ready to respond.
It's cutting edge, it really is for this area. So hats off to the people that really have done this, and people in this community feel safe that their law enforcement and their fire department are taking those progressive steps to go to the next level.
For Shelby This Week, I'm Stacy Sansatera.
A man in his late 40s was found dead in a pond here in Shelby Township. The Macomb Township man was found in a pond on Hayes and 24 Mile. His fiancée found him in the water. The autopsy came back, and according to police, there were no signs of foul play. Police are hoping to find more information after toxicology reports come back in the next few weeks. Chief Shelby explains residents in Shelby Township should not be concerned.
Obviously, if there's anything for our community to be concerned about, I will be the first one to notify them immediately through a press release and through our social media. There's absolutely nothing for anyone to worry about. This was a isolated incident. This is not a homicide. It's not being ruled a homicide right now at all, and nor will it be. And there's nothing for our community to worry about.
Still ahead on Shelby This Week, the Shelby Township Fire Department received a rating which could impact your homeowner's insurance. We'll tell you all about this new classification the community received.
I'm telling you, we are so far behind on this issue.
And Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle and our State Representative Peter Luciter were both here in the studio to discuss something very important to residents. Stay with us because we have much more still ahead on Shelby This Week.
This is why you get by on 4 hours sleep. Why you took a second job. This is why you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing and spend hours juggling the bills. This is why you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Now more options are available. Call 888-995-HOPE to talk one-on-one with a housing expert today.
The Shelby Township Fire Department received a rating which could impact your homeowner's insurance. The Insurance Services Office improved the township's overall community public protection classification. The original rating was based on a 5 out of 10 based on an assessment made in 1994. After the most recent review, the community received a 3 out of 10 rating. The new classification moves the fire department into the 90th percentile.
So when I met with the board right after becoming chief in 2013, we had decided we're going to do what's best for the community, and that's what we're going to do. And if we can improve our ISO rating, then we will. But we're not just going to go out and spend taxpayer dollars to, buy equipment, to build, stations, to hire 10, 15 people just for a better rating, because it wouldn't be a good thing to do. It would be a waste of taxpayer dollars.
With this classification, homeowners could see a savings from anywhere between $15 to $50.
When you look at the ISO, we would need 7 stations, 4 ladder trucks, and approximately 30 personnel on duty every day to get to that classification. And that's just, it's not worth it, because you're really not gaining anything by that point, except having a whole lot of people. And obviously we'd be able to, put a ton of people on every scene, but for the taxpayers' dollars and what the cost would be, it wouldn't even be a wise choice to even look down that road.
Shelby Township was able to secure the number 3 spot because of improvements to the fire stations, especially with the addition of fire station number 5. The number also represents water quality and the emergency communication system in the township. While many of us are looking forward to warmer weather, we all know with the change of season, we can start expecting those orange barrels to hit the roads. The Michigan Department of Transportation released their construction projects for the whole year. Overall, MDOT has 143 different projects happening throughout the state during the year. One of the biggest projects will be the reconstruction and resurfacing of I-696 here in Macomb County. The interstate will cost around $90 million and will rebuild the I-696 between I-75 and I-94. The construction is scheduled to begin in just a few weeks and will continue until September. And the second phase of Hall Road construction will continue until September as well. Between Garfield and Romeo Plank, crews will work to add left turn lane and repair bridges on the 1.2-mile stretch. You can find all the information you need to know about the various construction projects across the state of Michigan by visiting michigan.gov/MDOT-maps. Michigan drivers are very concerned over the state of our road conditions. Macomb County Executive Mark Hackle and State Representative Peter Lucido sat down with me to discuss the topic of roads.
Before we start fishing for money, because schools does this with me, the roads now are doing it with me as a legislator, and every other handout that's out there, we need to first say, this is our action plan, this is how much we need, and go to work on it as a team. This is not going to be done individually because you have 45 votes between Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb. You need 56. So we're short already votes to get it done. So we're going to need something. Public Act 51 would help an awful lot because we have multiple highways down here, multiple lanes, and we're getting cheated because of the lanes. So, but before I go ahead and in business for 30 years, I used to have to do a budget. My budget was, this road is going to cost me this amount of money. Here's a PACER report for all the roads in Macomb County. Now I have something in hand to go argue, some evidence, and says this is what our county needs. New money, out of the $56 billion that are sitting around in the budget, there's not a nickel left. We had a lapse account, that's how this money came and it went to the roads. Is he correct about saying it's not enough? Absolutely. Did we know this for many years? Absolutely. What do we do moving forward? Where does he, the executive, expect the legislature to find new money? I want to hear.
That's your responsibility. My job is to fix the roads, and so to that point, when you say knowing exactly how much every road costs, in Macomb County, we just had a study done.
How much is it then?
Hang on, let me finish, Pete. I'll let you talk. So I'm going to tell you exactly how much it is. In fact, I've got something that nobody else has in the entire state of Michigan. We've done an asset management of every road in Macomb County. Every road that is a red road from that PACER study that you had is no longer just the PACER study from 2015 to 2016. It's up to date. We use 2 outside firms, and to this date, every road in Macomb County that is in the red, I have an exact cost of what that would cost to fix that road.
So tell right the viewers out there what the cost is so we know what we're going to fish for.
It's over $1.2 billion. And so when I say $1.2 billion to fix Macomb County roads, I can right now, if you show me the money, which is a legislative responsibility, I can now go ahead and bid out any one of those roads, any one of those projects in any community. I'm ready to start that work, and we can do that tomorrow. But I can't do a thing unless I know somebody's going to be able to say, we have the money to go ahead and pay for that project.
If you are interested in hearing more from this discussion and how both leaders look to find funding to fix this problem, we have a special edition of Shelby This Week, which will air all this week on Shelby TV. Coming up next, Turning Point is hosting their annual dance, and we will tell you where you can buy your tickets. And while many video stores have closed, Family Video remains. We will tell you all about the perks of going into a video store. Stay with us because we have much more ahead coming up on Shelby This Week.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
A local twist on a television reality show, Stepping Out with the Stars, returns to Macomb County for the third year. A group of dancers from Arthur Murray Dance Studio will partner with the people in the community to help raise money. Tickets are $85 and the event will be held on Friday, April 20th at 6 p.m.
The night consists of lots of dancing, again, professional routines by the Arthur Murray instructors, as well as the Dancing with the Stars format where people get to vote on who their favorite dancer is. There's a live auction, there's a silent auction, there's raffles, there's a 50-50, dinner, drinks, the whole shebang. It's just a really, really fun night, and it's for a great cause, which is Turning Point.
Turning Point is an organization here in Macomb County providing resources for victims and survivors of sexual assault and domestic abuse.
We help tens of thousands of people every single year, and across the county, across the Metro Detroit area. We get people from Oakland County, we get people from Wayne County. We do all the sexual assault exams up in St. Clair County because they didn't have an agency to do that, so we do that. They've reached out to us. So we're kind of all over.
And if you are unable to make the big performance day in April, they have a dress rehearsal which will be open to the public on March 16th. Tickets are $15. For more information and to buy tickets, visit turningpointmacomb.org. Driving by the family video store here in Shelby Township, someone may ask how they remain open because everyone assumes everything is streamed nowadays. Our April Morton visited the video store to ask that very question.
When is the last time you've browsed the aisles of your local video store? I mean, DVDs, well, they're becoming obsolete, right? And what about a brick and mortar video store? Those things are long gone. Or are they? As you walk through the doors of Family Video on Van Dyke and 22 Mile, you feel a sense of nostalgia. You're greeted with a warm welcome as Lady and the Tramp plays on the monitor. You're reminded of a time when date night meant actually going to a video store together as opposed to scrolling through online movie sites. So in a streaming world and movies just a click away, how did Family Video manage to avoid the video rental chopping block?
You know, I think it's 4 reasons actually. It's for one, service. We offer great service. Selection, as you look around, there are thousands of items that people can choose from. Pricing is great. For most of our new releases, it comes out to 60 cents a night actually when you factor it out. And the community service, we're very involved in the communities that we deal with.
Community and customer service seems to be top priority here. This customer for over 2 decades says he has always come here even when the other big block name rental stores were around.
I mean, they just had they had better price, had a better selection. You know, Blockbuster, they'd have a new release and they'd have like only 5 to get. So if you weren't here, you weren't going to get it. This place has always been, you know, very customer friendly and always have what you want.
Like the newly released Oscar-nominated Lady Bird or a must-see classic like the anniversary edition of E.T. Speaking of anniversaries, this family-owned video chain is celebrating a big one.
Actually, one of the very first rental stores around in the late 70s, 1978 is actually when we started. This is our 40th anniversary, as a matter of fact.
In addition to great customer service, Family Video participates in helping out charities throughout the year. This month, a portion of every purchase will go towards lymphoma cancer. So with over 700 stores in North America and Canada, great pricing, a family-friendly environment, and signs like this, it looks like Family Video will be around for quite some time. For Shelby This Week, I'm April Morton.
We would like to congratulate one of our very own, Nick Monticelli. He started his career here as an intern at ShelbyTV. The Michigan Association of Broadcasters named him Reporter of the Year for his work at WDIV. Congratulations, Nick. And that's all for this edition of Shelby This Week. Remember, you can always watch us online or on Facebook. Just search ShelbyTV. We'll leave you now with more scenes from the active shooter training at Ewell Elementary School. Enjoy, and thanks for watching.
Yeah.